The public portion of this meeting will be called to order at approximately 7:34 p.m. by, well, I am Ms. Dahl, who is sitting in for Mr. Graff, who is board president, who is unable to join us this evening. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, the Rockaway Borough Board of Education has provided adequate notice of this meeting to the public by having the time, date, and location advertised in the Citizen newspaper on January 15th, 2025, posted on our website and at Town Hall. Official action will be taken.
All right, board member roll call. Mrs. Hernandez.
Here.
Mrs. Dorgilis.
Here.
Mr. Ravecchio.
Here.
Ms. Dahl.
Here.
And Mr. Graff is absent.
With notice.
With notice. With notice.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we're going to start with our reports and updates. So, board committee reports, finance.
We had a finance meeting last week, where we met our interim business administrator, and we are in the process of closing out and opening up for the budgets. So everything, I am trying to be very optimistic. That's my new thing for the school year.
I like that. Curriculum, special education, we met also last week on the 15th. It's like a 3-hour meeting. We had a lot to talk about, but it was exceptionally positive. We were able to take, I think, some constructive feedback that was given to us.
Yeah, from the community and also the teachers, and during negotiations we got some feedback, so we did take some of the feedbacks.
But yeah, and so that we can apply that where any improvements can be made. And Ms. Argenziano was at that meeting with us, and obviously as the director of curriculum and instruction, she's the one who'll be implementing a lot of those changes. So it was a great conversation. I think it's likely that there will be some changes with summer reading expectations moving forward. I think they hopefully will see a little bit more consistency with the use and implementation of Google Classroom. And just, I think, greater consistency overall, maybe from grade to grade, so it's not necessarily like a clean slate every year, taking a marking period to figuring things out and how one individual does it as opposed to a standard expectation. So we will meet again, I think you said before the end of the summer, and then on a regular basis as opposed to a as needed basis moving forward. Okay. Negotiation, did you want to add anything? No. Negotiations with RBAA, that would be me too. We also met last week. Last week was a big meeting week. I am really, really pleased to say that we came to an agreement with the RBAA last week. We signed an MOA. We are waiting on ratification, and then the board will approve it. So, and just to explain, the RBAA is the Rockaway Borough Administrative Association. So right now there's only 3 members. It's the 2 principals and the director of curriculum and instruction, but it's a new association, and we kind of had to start from scratch. So, but we made great progress in a short period of time, and really pleased that we came up with an agreement when we did. Okay, negotiations with RBEA.
So we signed the MOA, and we reviewed the salary guides, and now we're just waiting for ratification, then it'll be coming to the board. But we had a good year, couple months, first year doing it. It was very interesting, but it was very positive. There was a lot of feedback, but it was a great negotiation. Doing it for the first time was very great. It was a learning experience.
All right, athletics and activities. Nothing? Yeah, summertime, there's not a whole lot done. Although Mr. O did say that his camp went very well. I like that. Any other committees that met that we missed?
Actually, to touch base on that, Mr. O, we good on equipment for the year? Any?
I'm doing some, just looking at some things right now, and I know I reached out to Anthony before you got here, but, there's just some replacement of some things that we're gonna need, and our next cycle of uniforms for cross-country, and that's it, so. Yeah, it's pretty standard this year. I think we're in a good place, so.
Good. Mr. O, can you just explain briefly, so I understand, what the uniform cycle is? I'm assuming, obviously not every team gets brand new.
Yeah, so it's impossible at any level to get new uniforms every year. So, we have I have a printout that's saved on my drive that just is like, so it kind of tells me what's due, so that we could kind of keep track instead of ordering every year. Cross country's probably been like 7 or 8 years old now, maybe even longer. So they're due, and then, we just cycle through that. So next year might be softball, I don't know off the top of my head,
I understand.
but yeah, and then year to year, just replacement of things if there's things that break, or expendable items like baseballs. We obviously lose a lot of those, so we'll need more of those. But that kind of happens every year, so that's something that just is already planned for.
So it's a way just to keep equity amongst.
Yeah, this year, the one little extra thing that I'd like to do is update the banners in the gym. They're kind of due now, so, but other than that, everything else is pretty standard from year to year, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Usually it's like a 5-year cycle.
Yeah, sometimes you could squeeze a few more years out, yeah.
I think I
As you
remember
said,
that from
sometimes it stretches a little longer.
Yeah.
a prior meeting, but just so everybody else here understands. Do we have any liaison reports? Okay. Again, summertime, I think things have been fairly quiet. All right. Superintendent's report, which is not quiet.
Yeah, one of the things we were just talking about recently is that we were speaking with Mr. Graff, our board president, who's not here tonight, is that we do plan on recording our board meetings starting in September. The logistics of that we'll figure out. We'll probably get a YouTube channel. It won't be live stream, at least not for now. That's not in the plans, but just like a lot of districts do, post it sometime within the next day. Usually takes about 24 hours. And it'll be up there, so if people can't attend or they want to see, it'll be on our website, like when we attach it to a YouTube channel. So it's
Again, that's
something.
feedback we got from the community that, if people want to see the meetings in their entirety, we want to be able to provide those.
And the other thing I'm going to talk about is we'll get into some other things tonight, but as we know, we've spoken a lot about our budget over the last few meetings. I think we are currently in good hands. The board approved interim business administrator, Dr. Cruzmano, at our special meeting on July 2nd. That was really the only agenda item. Well, there was like 2 or 3 hours, I think. So I'm happy to have somebody here with his experience that's going to be here a little bit more consistently. We had an interim prior to that from March to June 30th that was here about 2 days a week, and that focus turned really solely into helping us through the current year, 24-25. Those last few months we're in good shape right now to close out the year very soon. I'll let him piggyback me, but we are looking to make a recommendation tonight, which was just received today, a proposal to go a different direction with our auditor of record for the district, because we just think that we can do better, and comes with very good references and I have worked with this firm in the past, so that will probably be added to the agenda tonight as part of discussion and exec. I'll turn it over to Dr. Kuzma just to give a very brief update on the board, and we can answer any questions.
Actually, I'm just gonna jump in before you do that. I wanna publicly thank, Mr. DiPaolo for, who was the prior interim BA, for jumping in with both feet for us. And, he was a savior. So I know he's not here, but still, I wanna put on record that, we are grateful, that he was able to kind of come to our rescue when we needed him, because he got us through some really, challenging,
And
months.
just to kind of piggyback on that, working with him in finance meetings, we definitely ended every meeting, feeling a little better about our situation, and also kind of trying to convince him to stay a little longer every time. Well,
I think we
because I
did,
got
yeah,
a couple
we
extra
managed
weeks.
to add longer on it.
But yes, I share the same sentiments.
Yes, so, thank you. And thank you, Dr. Kuzmano, for joining us as well.
I'm happy to be here, actually, and knowing Mr. DiPaolo the way that I do, because the BAs are like a small circle of people, and everyone knows everybody. You were in great hands with him, and so it made what I'm doing now a little bit easier. There's still work to be done. We are closing out the 24-25 school year, and that's a good thing. I'm down to just 3 open invoices that are just gonna get carried over because we didn't get the invoices in time. So there's 3 purchase orders for like less than $3,000 or $4,000 that'll get carried over into the new fiscal year. So that's exciting. We are finishing the year in a positive manner. Exact numbers I don't have, right? So whatever that is, but I can assure you that we're in good financial shape today, and so we are, hopefully the board will vote to bring in the new auditing firm because we need to correct some better ways of doing things that have been done in the past that probably weren't the best thing to do. And so we're going to be improving these processes and improving our efficiencies so that we're going to be able to know exactly what's happening in real time, as opposed to waiting several months out to realize, hey, gee, this line is overextended, we got a problem. So we have new projections come out once every quarter or so, and that's going to be important. I just got a quote for, we're going to be resurfacing both gyms. That'll be done prior to the new school year. It's going to be not that much more, but they're going to come in on a Saturday, do both gyms on one day in August. So I just have to cut that purchase order when I come back from vacation, and they guarantee me it'll be done in August before school's here. So we're in great shape for the moment, but we're gonna make it better. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Administration reports,
Not
everyone is
till-
on vacation,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
At some point in time during
Yeah,
that
so
month.
it's kind of, we're gonna do it in August.
All right. Any
We'll get
other,
it before that.
excellent, thank you. Any other items or comments for the good of the order? Do we have to add, we need a motion to
Yeah,
add
when we
the-
get to review the board agenda, the board review of agenda items. then
Well,
it's fine.
that's right here, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, yeah.
Alright, so, no other items, comments? Okay, so board review of agenda items, so we do need a motion to,
So,
yeah,
want me
go
to say
ahead, yep,
everything?
yep.
So there's 2 agenda items that I'd like to add to the agenda. One would be under policy, it is not on your copy that you have, it would be policy C, be it resolved to approve the emergency virtual remote instructional plan for the 25-26 school year. This has been something that districts have had to do since returning from COVID. There are literally no changes from last year, except the BA's name on the first page after you open it. If anybody wants to see a copy, they can take it, it'll be on the website tomorrow. And the year, it's 4 pages. The county requires a board resolution. I believe some counties don't, but that's just NJUE sometimes, so, that's why I kinda threw it in last minute. The other, so that would be resolved to approve the emergency virtual remote instructional plan for the 25-26 school year. I have it written here, so you don't have to write it. It's 11C. And then, under finance, we just have, sorry,
That's 7.
we have finance, number 7, and I don't know why these pages aren't numbered again, I'll make sure I fix that. We have our bills list that's on the copy that you have, and then, Jeff and John, just to make sure I have this the right way. Be it resolved to approve Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss LLP as the auditor of record for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, or for the 25-26 school year?
It's for the 25-26 school year.
Okay. So be it resolved to approve Lurch, Vinci, and Bliss LLP as the order of record for the 25-26 school year. That, I just went by what they wrote in the proposal, but.
Well, they're gonna conduct the audit for the year ending, the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. So, I don't know if you wanna just put that verbiage in there.
So I'll put, as the order of record for the 25-26 school year, including
Yeah.
conducting the audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025.
Yes.
Right, correct.
Still got it. Fiscal year. Got it.
And then we need, the next one is to, because we already approved a different firm, so we
So-
need to terminate that contract.
Well, we don't have a contract with them.
They've been approved, though.
Yeah, no, they were approved, so you could, and you would
And
know
they
better.
have probably done some work from July 1st until now, so.
I have no
we can't
idea.
rescind, so we would just need to terminate
Oh,
that.
right, they did.
So it is a contract, even if it's not a written contract.
Okay.
Right.
It's a
So do we need a resolution?
So we
for
should have
that?
a next
So
resolution to
seven
terminate.
C
Actually,
be
we
resolved to
It
approve.
could be, yeah.
To
Again, just-
terminate.
Bear with us, we just received this proposal today, it's not how we wanna work. Be resolved to approve because we wanna get them in.
Determination
Termination.
Approve the termination,
of the professional services contract.
Good thing you're best ever.
it's just Hunt and Peck contract. Be resolved to approve the termination of the professional services contract for,
For the 24-25 audit. With the Wilcox firm. With Wilcox.
And
company.
company.
And companies.
Yeah, is there a fee that we get charged?
There's probably gonna be some work they've done between July 1st and today.
But any work that they've already done, they've been paid for,
Okay.
to the best of my knowledge. Like when, John DePaolo was here and they had to come in because things were a little bit messy. I know that they sent somebody here, but then we were invoiced and they had gotten paid.
Okay, thank you.
just Wilcox and Company.
It's Wilcox,
Yeah.
yes, that's it.
Professional services of Wilcox and Company for the 24-25 audit.
You said the professional services contract for the 24-25 audit with. I don't think we approve them for anything else, but kind of your audit.
They were approved after January reorg, so is that from January to, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So I have, be it resolved to approve the termination of the professional services of Wilcox and Company for the 24-25.
That's fine, that's
Good?
good.
Okay. I kind of changed it. Just following me.
So we have,
So 7B is to approve Lurch, Vinci, and Higgins. 7C is to terminate the professional services of Wilcox and Company and get them in as soon as possible, Lurch, Vinci, and Higgins. And 11C is the emergency remote instructional plan.
now, do we have, one motion to accept
You
all
could-
of those?
you could
The motion to accept the
Consent
additions.
agenda, okay, so we don't have to do anything
You don't
special.
do that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Anthony, has anybody looked at a different vendor yet for the food services?
We were speaking with one company that a lot of people know that was not allowed to speak with me because there's some litigation with them and our current company that we use.
Okay.
So I will follow up with them. Let's talk about that.
So, when
I don't
you're
wanna say
dealing
the-
with the, food management service company, usually there's a window of time and they have like 3 and 5 year contracts and stuff. And so anytime that, you find that you're dissatisfied, you then have to kind of go out to bid for it. And it goes through the bidding process.
So we don't have a contract, right? We're contract.
No, you should. You should have
We
one.
do.
I don't know where you are on the site.
I think it's a one-to-one.
We can
Oh,
do
it's
it.
1 year
It's a
only?
1 year,
All right.
thing.
Yeah,
Was
And
it
then-
renewed already? Or no?
we put them on the agenda.
Was
Or
it?
We
had
did
to.
vote on, I
We
know
did
we
vote on
voted on
yeah.
it. It was only 1 year, and if I remember correctly, you were told they were the only company
They were.
to bid.
They were the only company that bid when we
For our
went out to
contract.
RFP. But I did speak to another company that you're familiar with, and I'm familiar with from other districts, that was very pleasant and nice speaking with me, but they would let me know when they could speak to me, because I guess, I don't know what.
I'll look into it. I'll look into it, but there are other food service companies. You have Sodexo, Sharpwell's, Mashio's.
One of those was one of the ones I spoke to, so.
All right, thank you.
Because they, yeah, I reached out to them recently, like in May. I think that's it.
Public hearing, or did we vote?
Does anybody have any questions on the agenda?
Does anyone
Anything?
have any questions on any of the agenda items?
I just have a comment, personnel D for Mr. Jones. Just want to wish him lots of luck. Always a class act. Great guy, so I wish him luck in his future endeavors.
Yeah, great.
Again, I think I don't think he would mind, me saying that he's, getting a position that is not a teaching position, so it's a good, personal move for him. We spoke earlier today, so, it was just approved last night, so that's why there was a little delay in getting the agenda out, so, yeah.
I'll definitely miss him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've already had an anticipated, PE opening, so we do have a recommendation down further on the agenda.
Big shoes to fill.
Oh, yeah,
Big
for
shoes
sure.
to fill.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll never forget my younger son coming home, Mr. Jones's first year, and talking about phys ed like it was the Olympics, not that it's not, but, and then, it was his kindergarten year, and then he got the, the phys ed VIP award at the kindergarten graduation.
It's great.
It was a highlight of his life.
Sure.
And Mr. Jones was there. So, yeah, good feeling, so we wish him well. Any other questions or
So
comments?
about 8th grade, sometimes that's something, don't like it, no, I'm joking.
They love it.
It's a joke, sorry.
My kids speak very highly of Mr. O as well.
Absolutely. I think they all can hear.
Okay. What do we, public hearing, right? So, we can open the floor to the public hearing for agenda items only. If you make sure, that you state your name and address before speaking, please.
Am I okay to stand here?
Yes.
Okay, I just actually have 2 questions regarding.
Just your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jillian O'Dell, 133 Halsey Avenue. I had a question about I believe it was, well, you guys know better than me when you mentioned the resurfacing of the gym floors. Wasn't Lincoln just done?
It's supposed to be done like once a year, but I don't know if it
Oh,
was
it's
just done.
just, okay,
So the big thing was
Yes,
just done, this is
thank
just,
you.
so one of the recommendations when we, worked with the company, Classic, I believe, was the company that came in and did it, was that we should do it every year, especially because of the traffic on our floors, like, it's not just,
What happens
A gym
is
for
the
phys ed and sports,
polyurethane
like-
coating
It's like
that goes
waxing.
on.
it's like our
Yeah.
assemblies.
Yeah.
no, that's perfect, I was thinking like resource meeting, like redoing.
No,
it.
no,
I was
no,
like,
no,
oh,
we
they
did
just
that, we did
No,
that 2
no.
years ago, I think.
Perfect,
No.
thank you for that
I'm glad you asked.
Good question.
And then I hope this is an agenda item, I'm not really sure, so just stop me.
We'll let you
if-
know.
okay. It was actually what Mr. O had like involved with the uniform recycling. Is it legal for school uniforms to be sponsored by a business?
Don't know the answer to that. I don't.
Okay.
Cause that
We
was
can
some,
find out.
there was some litigation about just putting advertisements on the field, so.
And maybe some business would go for that, just to, we're constantly looking for places to alleviate any little bits of money to accumulate big alleviations of money,
So
There may-
in other districts where I've been at, to alleviate some of the stress to budgets, that's where like the booster clubs come in, or
Okay.
if there is a private entity that would do it, then it would be just making a donation. They couldn't advertise, you know, we might be able to say, make an announcement at the start of every game, uniforms are provided by, you know,
Right.
Acton.
And if it's
You know
only
what I'm
one
saying?
team
Like,
a
if
year,
you do something like that,
I wouldn't,
but, you
I
know.
mean, you can speak on your behalf of this, I wouldn't be opposed to.
I think there's ways
exploring
to-
that maybe.
But we couldn't have it advertised on the
Right,
actual
no,
unit.
but like, there's tons of businesses that really need to give money away, and if,
Correct.
I don't know.
They
We're all
just
trying to
couldn't
see what we can
advertise,
do.
yeah, I guess they just can't advertise on the
But yeah,
uniform
I can
itself,
say-
but they can make donations.
I could say in other districts, and I'm not sure if it was done exactly the right way in one of them, but in the other definitely was, we had like signs on the fence, like it
Yeah,
might be
baseball signs.
advertisements, but then, you know, you could make a donation for, you know, athletic equipment / supplies, which that would fall under, and then we kind of would know what the intent was, and, you know, you
I
can,
think you can
I think to
earmark
have like a,
donations.
And I'm
like
just
a,
saying this
you
from
know-
a point of, I am active with the HSA, I'm a board member as of this coming year, and we do a ton of fundraising, and there are numerous businesses that are like, please take this money.
Yeah.
So, in the
Great.
spirit of saving taxpayer money, let's take some corporate money. Well, something, if it can be done, I'd be happy to assist with that.
Yeah, if we can
Please
look
give me back
at, if we can
your-
look at that, you can put their thank you in the newsletter, give them a
Yeah,
plaque at the board
that sounds
meeting
the way
saying
to
thank
do
you.
it.
I think that's a great idea.
I know it has, I know like sponsorships in general have come up in other districts, and some boards that I've worked with, you know, whether it's as a whole or individual board members were for it and some were against it, you know, and that could be so many different things. Like
Yeah.
there was a town that had like a Nike swoosh in the middle of their turf field, you know, and sometimes it's, you know, I
Takes
wouldn't
away
care,
the
but
money.
you know, maybe somebody is
Right.
not Nike or Under Armour, you know, I don't, you know, so.
I just, I know we briefly mentioned the type of funds that can be supplied from outdoor,
Yes.
outside resources versus what needs to come through the financials as tax money and federal, if that ever comes to us, and things like that. So if that's something that can happen, and Mr. O is on board, and you can give us a ballpark number, I'd be completely happy to help do some.
Can I ask you a question?
Question.
So I know
Question.
some of you have asked, like I know Ms. Brainerd's asked about like some legal things with like fundraising and donations, so I may ask the HSA to meet with Dr. Cusimano and I, maybe we could ask you the questions or even Google
We have
Meet
our,
or
we have our president here, one of our presidents.
Yeah,
and
I'm
our-
sorry, I didn't see
No,
that.
it's okay. We actually had, we were talking about, now this is nothing set in stone yet, but we wanted to maybe do like 5,000 for after-school activities for the teachers to get paid, and to give some form of extra payment to the teachers, and then also extracurricular for probably like the elementary school, because I know they do like the Lego club here. But we were just thinking possibly something like a yoga after-school program, so the teachers and staff could get paid to do that, but it's just something that we would like to talk about, because we raise a lot of money. We have a lot of money going towards mini grants, but we wanna also separate the mini grants into more of like extracurricular to give to the students, the parents who are in the HSA, and also
if I can just speak to some of that, I don't wanna tie up people's time too much, but, I looked at those mini grants, and, basically, the HSA would be better off just spending the money on their own. We don't need to funnel it through the business office.
Right, that's what we were.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
would be better for
I'm
all
gonna
of
put
us.
a stop to that immediately, because, the school, but you have to understand the district, like my predecessor, whoever was in this chair before me, I have no clue what that person did or didn't do. I can tell you, I do the right thing, period.
Okay.
Anybody that knows me will tell you, you know, my record speaks for itself. And so I do the right thing for the kids and the community and the district. And so basically, the district has to follow procurement laws. And it makes things a little difficult sometimes. Mr. Jim Shoup, he's like a purchasing guru for the state of New Jersey. He writes the purchasing agents exams for Rutgers, for the state of New Jersey as well. Anyway, he does this whole presentation. He'll be coming to the district as well on the PD day to present it, but he often says you can't just go to Costco wholesale as a district, buy something off the shelf. Like, it doesn't work like that. We have to follow procurement laws. And I know maybe some of the board members, maybe the community might not like hearing this, but purchasing for school districts has nothing to do with saving money. It's all about compliance, right? And so that's what it's about, is being compliant with the purchasing laws of the state of New Jersey. And so as a private entity, as the HSA is, then you're able to purchase whatever you want, however you feel, and then all that has to happen is you make the donation, whether it's to Thomas Jefferson or Lincoln, and it's in a form of a resolution that the board accepts the donation. And if I'm wrong, Mr. Molino can verify everything I'm saying.
But how would we, and then if we wanted to pay the teachers?
Well, that's something else now.
Okay.
Anything that's involving like a stipend or something
Okay.
like that, that would have to be worked out where that's when we work with the business office,
Okay.
collect the money to pay the teachers,
Yeah.
because there's also other obligations that are involved. So like, you would make a donation of X amount, and I'm just gonna use a number, say $5,000, right? And you want that money specifically to go towards some kind of stipends for after school, whatever. Because there's FICA involved, not all of that money can be used for just the salary, because that money's gonna get tied up also in the FICA and the other obligations that the state takes out of everybody's pay.
Right.
So it lowers the impact of the grant, if you understand what I'm getting at. So that's why, as a general rule, myself, not that I wanna preach anymore, but I never pay salaries from grants,
Okay, great.
right? Because it lowers the impact of the grant, because then I gotta pay taxes and FICA and everything else coming out of those monies.
All right, thank you.
No worries.
That helps us a lot. Awesome.
Yeah, we'll figure out like what the process will be, but it's been wrong.
Yeah.
But once the new year does roll over, because we're just about to close out the old year, starting the 25-26 year, those mini grants, you're just gonna buy whatever you want for whatever school you need to do whatever, and just make the donation.
We love that. Thank you so much.
Then if you find let's say a teacher needs supplies or something, right? And you find those glue sticks on Amazon, you're not held to the same procurement
Right.
requirements.
Well, we tried to make, an Amazon account through our email address with the RBHSA,
Mhm.
but we were blocked. We don't have access to the business account. Like, so we tried using that email to create, like
Business
a
account for
tax
sales tax. I don't think you
I don't,
can use it.
I don't think you can avoid sales tax.
No.
though.
Right, that's the thing. Now,
Even though they
as,
have
They can buy from Amazon, but you just can't also get it tax free.
right, now, as an HSA, you should be tax exempt if you're a 501c3. And as a 501c3, then you just need to set that up with Amazon separately,
Yeah, but the email that our association is associated with,
right?
it won't allow us because the Rockborough.org already has its own Amazon
So
she
I would
give them a
change,
different email for
just
that.
change the email address.
Put it Amazon.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
To
Create
whatever,
a Google address.
Okay.
right.
I don't know if there's
Right.
any way around that.
And,
Yeah.
right, and
Okay.
if that's the only thing that's blocking it, change the address, because you file a 990,
Yep.
right, and everything else, and so you're already doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so as a 501c3, like I said, you're able to do a whole lot more with purchasing whatever you want, and if something's on sale, you just get it, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
No worries. If you need help with any of that, just come see me, and I'll help you walk through it.
Thank you so much.
What did you say earlier about positivity and moving forward with hopes?
I'm being very optimistic, and I'm gonna convince Sean to be different.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
And it's lovely. Okay, do we have any other, oh, yes, thank you.
I'm Jacqueline Hamilton, 11 Donna Drive. I just wanted to clarify with Mr. Jones' resignation, like you had mentioned that later in the agenda, is it Casey Lean that's replacing Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Because the other thing is, I was surprised in the community, there's talk of other staff resignations, which I saw Senora Blake was in the July 2nd meeting. Was that open to the public, the July 2nd?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
It was a
Okay.
special meeting and it was
In the
was
paper.
advertised, it wasn't, part of our normal schedule that was established at
So
the
can we
beginning of
not
the year.
ask questions regarding that agenda then?
You could ask it, yeah.
Okay, so I'll address that question in a second. So like staff, I'm sorry, community rumor is that Mr. R also resigned, so I was expecting to see his name in the board minutes, is that?
So I don't wanna speak specifically about him, but I can tell you this, that would maybe lead you in the right direction. A staff member will usually not resign until the board approved.
Okay,
So the reason we had a posting for a phys ed position is because we had anticipated
and
certain
that was
things
so
happening.
Mr. R was the 80% that was advertised? And
He
then,
is
so
the
like this
position that was
person.
anticipated.
So then Casey Lane was hired for Mr. R, but being moved to
Correct.
Mr. Jones's, vacancy.
Correct.
So then there's still the 80% vacancy
Correct.
and not.
If that
okay.
gets approved, yes.
So then just, my other question was, I understand, like, Mr. Jones is being held to contract until September 19th, but.
Yeah, it says or sooner, so I have no intention
So
of
then
holding
he'll
him.
be released
100%.
prior, okay.
Spoke to him today. Yeah.
Okay, and then I was very concerned when I saw Senora Blake resigns. I was very verbal about being upset with the elimination of the librarian position. And so, in addition, in the last meeting that I attended, the 80% Spanish teacher was also let go. And so my fear for the district is we're just gonna see teachers leaving, okay? I'm a teacher, I said that the last time I was here. It really, really concerns me that we're gonna start losing really amazing teachers because from, piecing things together is that when the 80% Spanish teacher was cut, those classes were then reassigned to Senora Blake, who didn't want that responsibility, who is then resigning. So you're going to be losing these teachers that are really good for our students, and we're not going to be able to attract good teachers because teachers talk. And I'm sorry to say, Rockaway Borough is infamously low paying as it is, and now teachers are afraid about their job security. Like, Mrs. Thomas was given a letter of intent, which she signed, and then her position was eliminated after that. That really leaves teachers scared to take these positions. So we're gonna get someone in this, I'm mad again, sorry. So we're gonna get teachers applying. One Spanish teacher for a K-8 district is, I don't even understand how the union allows this. I don't understand how there's not something in the contract that like the union is not exploding about, that she cannot be expected to teach that workload, okay? So then who are we attracting in this open position? Not the best of the best. And then that's where our kids start to suffer. And that's also where you see a high turnover rate with teachers. So that's not good for a district either. And Dr. Greco, it was funny because the last time I spoke with you at the HSA meeting, we discovered that we had a Bloomfield connection when we grew up in the same town. my classroom teacher experiences in New Providence, which I didn't stalk you appropriately because I did not see that on the resume. And I started after you.
It's all good.
I started after you, so we did not coincide in New Providence. But I really felt a strong connection to you in that, because I was like, New Providence teachers don't leave. And they don't leave because they're highly paid, and it's a small district, and they're highly respected. And so there is no turnover rate in New Providence, and the year I started there, not my fault, but it was #1 in the state.
Yep.
Like, Rockaway Borough is not #1 in the state. We're not going to be able to attract these, really strong teachers. We're just not. And then, in addition, like, I'm a taxpayer. We've been trying to upgrade within Rockaway Borough. My husband doesn't want to live here anymore. And he's like taking Rockaway Borough off of our house hunt. So it's like, that doesn't affect you at all, because somebody's gonna buy my house and you're still going to get that tax revenue, but then we're not going to be able to attract the right community, right? Like, we're going to have families leaving to avoid the school system. And then there is a turnover in our town. It's really concerning.
I can just comment a little bit. I cannot deny a lot of what you're saying. It is a concern. Some really tough decisions had to be made, and I think we're doing our best at this point to try to, as quickly as possible, address some situations that we kept finding over the last few months, including the last 2 weeks that you've been here. And I think doing something like changing our auditor and really getting an understanding, we clearly should have had an understanding of where we were when those teachers were given letters of consent. I don't deny that. I think that was part of the issue, was bringing in an interim BA when a move had to be made at that point in time. That was not a move that's an easy move to make, because regardless of how that person was performing, it's still a change, it's still a transition. So I think bringing in somebody, then realizing that not only was next year an issue, but the current year was an issue, and the current year took a high priority to get through. So we got through that, and I'm hoping, I agree with you. I think we don't want to make it a place where, and I do know that was, I know the reputation of the district in the past, and I think we've gotten away from that, like even with my predecessor here. I think the board, including the previous board, has done a lot to try to address some issues with the contract. I think we're trying our best to stay even above county average with our increases, as best as we can, and that's really all I can say. I'm not denying a lot of what you're saying.
So Senator Blake there's no replacement for her yet?
No, we're in process right now.
Okay.
So that's, yeah,
And it's still going to be a K-8 Spanish teacher?
as of now
What
for this year.
is the schedule for a teacher in such a position?
One section per week. Again, this is not optimal in my eyes. I do know other districts that, will have, let's say K-5. I know an example where they meet with classes once every 2 weeks. Again, not optimal, not where the direction I think I want the district to go, but that's what it would be right now, would be one section a week.
And I'm happy to see that a phys ed teacher was hired, because
We had some
in
really,
my mind, I'm like, my kid has no gym teacher, no Spanish teacher, no librarian, no keyboarding teacher. What does my kid have? My mother-in-law was just here from Rhode Island, and she was looking at my daughter's report card, and she was in awe. She has Spanish in kindergarten, she has technology in kindergarten. Like, that's what keeps New Jersey as the #1 performing state in the country. And our district doesn't have those things. It's really concerning.
I understand.
If I could add, I'm a teacher too, so and again, you make really valid points. From a parental perspective, I want my kid to have all the things and have experiences and with those experiences, that the quality of the individual that they have that experience with is very important to me. I do think that, practically speaking, that posting a full-time position as opposed to a percentage position, a 0.8, or, that hopefully we will attract highly qualified candidates, because people are looking for a full-time position as opposed to a part-time position. Does that make sense?
Yes, attract, but retain, no.
And again, your point is very valid, but I know that, and this was before I was on the board, that it was challenging to find a 0.8 Spanish teacher, because people want a full-time position, right? So hopefully, and I was sad that Senora Blake didn't choose what was being offered to her, but I completely understand where she was coming from too, because I teach high school, and if somebody handed me middle school students, I'd say, no, thank you. In kindergarten, I'd run away. So I get it. And I'm glad that we have this new phys ed teacher, again, who was applying for a 0.8 position and now able to offer the full-time. So your comments will not be ignored. They are not falling on deaf ears. I'm gonna try to speak for the whole board. We want the same thing you do. And I would hope that your husband would reconsider keeping Rockaway Borough on your list, because the quality of the individuals that your children will be engaging with, in my opinion, is second to none. Even though at this point we might not be able to pay them what they're worth, we have made progress in that direction. I think we used to be last and are no longer last. So at least we're moving forward. And I was not part of the negotiations committee, but I think those sentiments at least the attempt has been made to express our feelings about the quality of who we have here. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just want to say one more thing just to add to it, because I was actually, and I want to say this at first, when you were first speaking about potentially wanting to look elsewhere, we were talking about that today, wanting to keep, people here in the community that like our schools, that like everything about it, whether it's the safety of it, or, the people that are here, and that's always a big reason, the people that are teaching kids like at the ground floor. In terms of the PE, we added that 0.8 position, I think, coming into my second year, because I think I may have had a side conversation with Mike O about the hours of PE and health that we were offering, and not offering the right amount of 150 hours a week. It wasn't going on for a long time. So I think originally it was posted as a 0.5, and the board at the time was open to it being a 0.8, because it just gave us a little bit more flexibility at the time.
Can we get benefits?
0.8 does not.
Okay.
Does not. It kind of worked out. I think we had some decent candidates at the time, and Mr. Rosillo was great, and it kind of fit into his life at the time, without getting into details about him. But things change in people's course, and I think he's making a move that's good for him and where he wants to go. And clearly, if he was open to that full-time position, which I'm not going to say a conversation happened, but that would have been considered as well, while he was in his own search for something a little bit different. But yeah, we added that position because we were not offering the right amount of phys ed and health per week. Ms. Blake, I think, I hope she doesn't mind me saying it, but my first 2 years here, we asked her if she wanted to go full-time. Things were good. My first 2 years here, we had a lot of funds. I guess I would say we were flush, and it would have just, again, given her more of an opportunity to do other things. She was very helpful with translating for us throughout her time here, like going above and beyond. I mean, probably doing things that you would probably tell somebody, like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to give them your cell phone number. Like things that she didn't even want credit for that she did, that I know, you know, Ms. Skolmill told me about. I know, having her and a few myself, just really going out of her way. So one of the things that Ms. Skolmill and I discussed was if she was open to, if we were able to at some point, I don't know if it's this year, you know, have some type of, you know, liaison position stipend for somebody like her to help us. She ran a lot of those, put together a lot of the ESL/multilingual learner nights that we had. So again, really somebody who didn't want the credit, didn't need to tell you that she did it. So yeah, it is not, you know, it saddens me as well. So
neither Spanish position was a full-time position?
no, the one that was cut was the .8. So we have the full-time
But
position.
it was in her like 4 days a week?
She was 4 days a week. When we did a 6 day,
Full-time?
she was not full-time.
Neither Spanish teacher?
No, one was.
No.
And then
One was.
we moved, and then they offered her.
She had tenure though.
Okay,
So they were gonna.
got it.
Got it.
The other teacher was full-time,
Correct.
but non-standard.
Correct,
Got it.
correct. Miss Blake was .8 when I started here. That was, I don't know, for a number of years. It worked with
I
her,
understand.
I think it worked with her situation at the time,
Okay,
so. Yeah. I just wanted to say that. 'Cause I-
okay. No, that makes more sense, thank you.
Yes.
I just have a question about.
Sorry, just introduce
Oh,
yourself
yes,
and your address.
Sarah Lane, 8 Birchwood Road.
Thank
I have a quick question about the curriculum, and
Yes.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that the Lincoln math curriculum is going to be changing again. It was just 1 year that they had, I don't know what the book was, it's gonna still stay the same?
I can tell you, based on our meeting this week with Mrs. Argenziano, we specifically asked about math curriculum. The 6 to 8 math curriculum is changing after 1 year,
Not including algebra.
not including algebra. There was a program chosen, from what we were explained, is the company really did not do a good enough update to adhere to the new New Jersey standards. And it wasn't working. And they realized that in that 1 year, it was not working, and so they started, earlier this spring, I think it was, they started looking for another program. The program that was chosen, I don't remember what the name of it is, to be honest with you, but,
Eureka.
okay.
Eureka. EUREKA.
Okay, that was the number 2 program from last year, and Mrs. Argenziano has already been in communication with that company. The customer service, the customer support, she said was absolutely amazing. The new math teacher in TJ, who taught 6th grade this past year, used this program in a previous school, so he's very familiar with it, and he's excited about it, and happy to help the other teachers, you know, acclimate. And I think she said there were a lot of resources that came
There's a
with
lot of
it, right?
resources for the teachers, and also they're gonna be doing training with the teachers to
Yes.
help the teachers.
But
But
so
Lincoln is not effective, it's
But
just,
Yes.
it's still the same, okay.
Lincoln
Yeah.
is still the same.
It was the TJ program.
And now, is the math specialist position going to be posted, or are you looking to fill that?
We haven't posted for that
Okay.
position yet. We need to just, that's why we're putting the under, we just wanna see where we are. Yeah, we didn't eliminate anything
Alright.
at this point.
You,
Do you mean the math interventionist, or do you mean
I'm
the
sorry.
coach, the stipend, there was a stipend
The
from that?
Elefante, what's the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was, yeah,
So whatever her position was.
yeah, she got a job in another district
Yeah.
as also a good,
Yeah, of course.
Upwards
Yeah,
move for her.
I mean, that's what we need to do, we need to.
that nothing new has been posted until we get an order,
Okay,
in,
gotcha.
just to
Thank you.
make sure we know where we
We
are.
don't wanna dig ourselves into any.
Yeah.
Irma Brainer, 125 Andrea. So I just have a question about is there, I know you guys do a lot, and I know that everyone's overloaded, I'm happy to hear about this audit, I think it's a very good move. But is there a leg of the school board that can do something to get us out of this hole financially? Right, because that's the whole thing, we can't afford to pay our teachers better because we don't have the money. So what can the school board do to raise our funds, if anything?
So,
Rich,
it's a complicated issue, one that doesn't, just have easy answers, right? And so this is something that didn't happen overnight either, right? Over the course of years, and this district, like others, like where I live, some years board members decided, well, we're gonna go to a 0 increase in taxes. And what that does is compound the problem, right? You're kicking the can down the road, and while compounding and the compounding effect may seem like a simple, easy concept, because I used to teach that to the kids, and they seem to get it, but adults seem to have difficulty when you tell them, listen, you can go 0, but then you're gonna be kicking the can down the road. So the issue is, while we would love to pay the teachers everything, like I myself live in Alamucci, they're one of the lowest paid in Warren County, and I was on the Board of Ed for 10 years screaming, raise the taxes, right? Let's pay these people, because like the comment in the back, I didn't wanna lose good teachers either, right? And so what happens is, it's a slow process. What we can do in the immediate is take a look at efficiencies, what we're doing, what we're not doing, what we're supposed to be doing, right? Like for example, it costs say $35 to $40 to process a purchase order. Now, why do I want my business office to deal with the HSA to purchase books or whatever it is, supplies, deal with that when they could just do it themselves more efficiently, and that saves money. One of the other things that I'm gonna be implementing, and I don't wanna get into like the minutia of machinations, but simply that there's the food service fund, right? Well, we can pay 0.2, which is 1 day of the custodian's time, and charge it off to the food service, so that lowers the impact on the general fund as well. Now, does that produce a savings? You save by not spending. That's it. So what happens, not just in this district, districts across, the state, where you eat away at your surplus fund balance. So in the audit that Wilcox completed in ending June 30th of 24, the district had a fund surplus balance of almost 1.5 million, right? Now, I don't know what happened since that time, right? But that's as of June 30th. I can tell you, July 1, that number is probably cut in half, because there's certain obligations that have to get paid out of that, right? So, like I said, the answer is not, it's black and white, and it's a little complicated, but it takes time to dig out of the hole, right? So like in 3-4 years, you might build up that surplus again, right? The other part of it is dwindling state aid. There's like this thing where the entire state of New Jersey doesn't want to keep paying all this money to the school districts, especially like the former Abbott school districts where I came from. And so there is what's called the local share, and this district is under adequacy. So I don't want to turn this into a whole like school finance thing, and we can discuss what it all means. But basically, it's like the district is underfunded.
Yeah.
And right, but the state is saying, not saying verbally, but they're telling school district leaders, hey, you gotta put it on the backs of your taxpayers to make up that difference.
So I guess that's my question, is the only way that you guys can raise money is by raising the taxes? Like,
And
because
cuts-
as a
right.
HSA member, we do a lot of
Understood.
fundraising, and there are tons of corporations that want to give money.
And so
why
that's
can't
how
the
it's
board
done.
do that?
Well, by getting like,
Can the
yeah, if you
board
guys,
do that?
well, yeah, you guys can,
No, not us, not HSA, the board.
well, we can certainly collect donations for those willing participants that are willing to donate, that'll offset some of these funds, right? Because, instead of, say, using money out of the general fund to purchase uniforms or other supplies, yeah, if someone wants to donate money to say, hey, we know the school needs whatever it is, here's, you know, whatever dollars.
So might it be a good idea to add someone to the board that can spearhead this? Because I know you guys are overextended as it is, but, you know, how does this work? Like, how can we be proactive instead of just being like, well, we don't have any money, I guess our kids are gonna suffer for 3 or 4 years?
Well,
You know, like
I wouldn't put it in those terms. I would simply say that right now, this board, and with me here especially, the district is looking at everything so that we're able to maintain and sustain the programming at the highest level we can with the funds that we have, right? And so no one wants the kids to suffer for anything. I certainly don't. I'm the first person to say, listen, what are we doing for the kids? And the last thing I do is cut people. That's the absolute last thing anybody ever wants to do, right? Because it's gonna impact the classrooms, it's gonna impact the kids. The only thing that you can do is you cut spending in terms of, say, buying certain supplies, you try to build your surplus. Otherwise, you're gonna end up just simply putting it on the backs of the taxpayer or some state aid or other forms of grants that you have to work with.
I totally get that. I'm still just asking, can the board legally
So,
try to raise money?
Well, we can't go solicit donations, like we can reach out, but it's not like if I'm gonna have, like the HSA can. I'm gonna say like the school district or the school board can't say, hey, we're gonna have a trick or treat and we're gonna go solicit donations, you know what I mean, to have this thing so we can raise money. That I don't think we can do, right? I think that should, it's better left to the HSA and PTA, PTOs to do, right? Because you're able to do more than what you think you can, right? We can meet privately and we can have these conversations. I'm more than willing to lend my expertise. I know a lot of people in different areas, but I don't know, like for example, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, they just got money coming out of their ears when they go to sleep. And the interest rates they get just by sleeping and waking up is like incredible. And so you gotta tap into people like that can maybe be able to help you, you know?
I guess, can I just jump in?
Go ahead.
2 things that I can think of would be recently the state had like the tax levy incentive program where boards could go above the tax levy. I know another district that I used to be in did that. And the other thing is, I think we mentioned it at one of our meetings, like another question, like a question on like a second question or.
Oh, on a,
Yes, like going out for that.
Right, but again-
those are things that you can.
But
legally
that
do
puts
as
it
a-
back on the taxpayer.
Correct, it goes back
Yeah, but
on the
let's
taxpayers.
be
I guess
honest
that's what I
with
was.
ourselves, right? They're asking about like,
No,
you know,
understood.
private donations that can be made, and I think we can get them, we can receive donations, right? There's mechanisms that we could do that, but as far as going out to solicit that way,
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
yeah, we have to be careful with that. Like, we can take a donation, we can't really ask, you know.
and the other thing I would say is, we didn't know that we had a significant problem. As soon as that was revealed, swift action was taken. And it doesn't fix necessarily the problem that we had, but it prevents it from getting worse. And so all of us were confronted with a situation that I'm gonna say we have not been in before. And under Mr. Greco's guidance, we had to figure out, and Mr. Marlino, we had to figure out what we had to do, what we could do, what legalities were involved in that, because, you know, personnel can, it's sticky. And that's where we currently are. So what we did was we said, okay, we've got a problem. This is what we have to do to stop the bleed, if you will. And if, for instance, switching auditors, that is a move for us in the right direction. We haven't voted on it yet, so I can't say that for certain, but that's my gut feeling. So, as a board, there are only so many things that we're permitted to do. I think we will do anything we are permitted to do that is in the best interest of our children to make the corrections moving forward. And so it might seem a little crazy every so often, oh, you have 2 interim, BAs, like why would you do that? Well, you know what? Because it was determined that that's in the best interest of our kids right now. And so that's what we're doing. And I think we've tried to be very transparent about everything that we have experienced and that we're dealing with, and that, again, that what we can share legally, what we can't, but trying to word things so people can read between lines if necessary. And so I think we're at step 1 for figuring out what we as a board are able to do to make changes so that hopefully we don't find ourselves in this position, or any future boards find themselves in this position moving forward.
Can I say one more thing? Just because I feel like it's important. It was something I didn't get to say to the board in exec because it wasn't really an exec topic, but it's on this agenda. Every year the superintendent has to be evaluated. I met with Mr. Graff for a while after he spoke with the board. It's a whole process. We go through New Jersey school boards for the template. Like, not that it matters, but I think I have a pretty good poker face in terms of like what's going on. But like, I'm angry. I am angry. Just like I know a lot of you are angry / upset and/or I'm angry. I think I could speak for some of the board members up here that are also having some of those same feelings, or have had some of those same feelings. And
Angry might be an understatement.
yes. I'm still using the poker face, but I think also I just want to commend the board because I've been in the 2 previous districts where I've been, and I've gotten a new contract in both districts and decided to leave for various reasons. Good relationships with the board, and boards do their homework before they hire the superintendent. So I wanted to go to a place that didn't need a state monitor, have a fiscal state monitor. That one was in place when I was a principal, and I kind of went into superintendent with that person who was great, and I learned so much from him. And then going into another district, I was like, I could do this, state monitor again. And both of those districts are in really good shape right now. But yeah, this was not something, I didn't want to go down this road again, but we're here. Hopefully we don't need that type of monitoring, and we're doing everything we can to fix this problem, because I think I know what we need to do to find out where we are and just move from there. But yeah, there's a lot of feelings up here, I'll say. Yeah.
I'm sorry, one more comment. Julian O'Donnell, Public Policy Avenue. I just wanted to put this in your ear as you investigate new food service options. And I know everybody is very familiar with the financial demographics of this neighborhood. We have a significant amount of people that are eligible for free lunches, and then we have a significant amount of people that are going above that. So just keep that in mind when you go on your search for potentially a new food service. We are not the $7 lunch district, so just wanted to, I don't say it out loud, and on me for not saying it, so.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I don't want to be paying $7 for cardboard pizza either. Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any other comments that are for agenda items only? Yes, Ms.
Hello, Casey
Hi.
Clark, 66 West Flag Street. How are you? I apologize if it was covered already. Item G on personnel. So you've hired a new treasurer. I just wanted to understand how often they'll be working, how many hours a week, hours a month. How's that going to work with obviously the new administrator?
Yeah, that's a position that every district needs to have. This is a separate position from the district. Do you wanna explain a little bit about
Yeah,
the
so
role of the treasurer of school
basically,
monies?
the treasurer of school monies, it's kind of like the checks and balances. Basically, you know, prior to this appointment, and I don't know for how many past years, but the prior business administrator
Yeah, I'm aware.
was the treasurer of school monies, and he was getting a stipend for it. And
Mhm.
so basically, you're checking your own
Spend that
checkbook.
now, sorry.
Well, you know, so basically what this is bringing in a highly qualified individual who not only is a business administrator, but he's the business administrator for the Essex County, Services Commission, who's been a business administrator for, I don't know, almost 30 years. Highly qualified, and basically, it's a part-time position. The amount of hours it takes, it depends on how quickly he can work through the documents. Basically, he'll set up he'll reconcile the books every month, is what he does. And
Is that
I
like
take,
balancing a checkbook?
yes, and he'll take the bank statements, and then, I match up what he has. I'm the secretary, he's the treasurer, and then if there's a disconnect somewhere, well, then we need to make sure that the bank matches the book, or whatever's off gets reconciled correctly.
Okay.
That was, something that we recognized that we were doing incorrectly and that needed to be remediated immediately, and it has been, or will be,
Our
hopefully.
previous longtime treasurer of school monies resigned about a year and a half ago. It was supposed to just be a whole.
Was it a year and a half ago that the issue started, perhaps? I don't know if you can answer that.
I couldn't get the question.
Is that when the issue started?
Oh, I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
say-
that was-
I can tell you that it.
No one knows, right?
No, but it took
That's
a
okay,
long
okay.
time.
I don't need an answer for that one. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
You could go back to agenda items and the non-agenda items period as well, so.
Right, yeah.
I just wanna make one comment, Bonnie Hook, 23 Jackson, you were mentioning about the residents and the taxes. I just wanna make a point that I was made aware of recently, that Rockaway Borough is 5th in Morris County, the 5th highest paying tax right now for our community, and what we're getting. So it's a very slippery slope here,
Agreed.
and it really should be taken into account. And I also would like to ask, is anybody gonna be held accountable for this?
Well, we have to figure out where we are exactly, and that's why we're bringing in this new auditing, firm to exactly tell us exactly where things are, where we stand, because, while we did close out the year, I can tell you the district is fiscally solvent, so that's good. But how much so, I really can't say, because I don't know at this moment, right? We're working on getting all that together, and that's all part of the audit process.
Was this like fraud or was it mismanagement?
It was lack of notice. There was no notice, no plan. So it wasn't fraud, it wasn't criminal, it wasn't mismanagement, it was just a lack of notice.
Like not planning ahead. It's like not planning for
Like-
increases in salaries.
Oh, for example, when I made the comment earlier about having Lurch Mention Bliss provide us with projections, right, every quarter. And those projections were never done, to my knowledge, by the predecessor. He just flew on his own, whatever he decided to do. Is that mismanagement? I don't know. But I can't really speak that way, and I don't wanna be flip about it. So I'm sure he did well, to the best of his abilities with whatever, but having a projection will tell you exactly where you are and where you're going. A budget is a statement of your priorities. So you put your money where your mouth is, and you say, okay, but it's also fluid. So if some line, is getting overspent, first find out why, put money there to cover it so that it's no longer overexpended, and then, you stop putting money there and stop spending in that area, and that's how it kind of works.
How long was the former business administrator in that position?
The former business administrator was here for about 4 years when I arrived, so business administrators get tenure after 3. So that was, how many total years? I want to say about 7 or 8.
It was seven.
7 or 8. 8, because there was 4 before I came here, or 3.5 before I came here, so about 8.
And there is accountability, versus no longer here.
What about the accountability from the board? Like, don't you guys get reports every month? I mean, everybody should know, this shouldn't be a surprise. All these years, no reports, no nothing, nobody knew?
This is a report though.
Reports, reports, there was an issue with reports. We approved all of our reports from November at our last meeting. That's what our last interim did. So I would say at some time around that point in time, I don't know if anything was accurate. I don't know what was accurate and what wasn't from that point in time.
I just hope you do hold somebody accountable when you find out and reach the bottom, for the residents and the kids and everybody.
We already know what happened, that's why we want to know.
I'm gonna reiterate something that Mr. Graff said at a previous meeting, is that while we might have gotten a tremendous amount of satisfaction from taking certain actions, at the same time, one has to measure whether those actions are in the best interest of the district in the long term and considering the current financial circumstances.
Yeah, we get that. It costs more to prosecute than to just let, yeah, we get it. But it's sad.
Can you predict his tenure or something?
He's done.
Tired now. It's gone. No questions. Done.
Okay, are we now at the,
If there's any more questions.
are there any other questions about agenda items?
I have a question. Leah Rueda, 55 Arbor Ave. I guess what I'm curious about is with eliminating these, this is seems like pretty big turnover from last year to this year. No media specialists, we have no Spanish teachers, we're gonna have just one full-time. All of this turnover is, when you're building your budgets and projections, is it kind of for the skeleton crew? Like, what are we building towards, like, as a district? Are we building towards, like, a well-staffed, like, school? Like, how are you going to, like, transition from, like, it looks like we lost a para, like, a lot of things are going down. And I personally pay over $12,000 a year in taxes for a skeleton crew in both buildings, which I don't particularly love because I'm paying at the top for taxes in Morris County, which is a very nice county with very good schools. And I happen to be in a school district where we charge a lot for school lunches. We don't have a lot of free resources for the community. We don't have full day preschool. We're not really offering a lot for us for my $12,000 a year. So, and now the schools are going to be even tighter. Like, how long? And how will you transition to a more robust offering for us as very high tax-paying citizens? Like, what's your plan?
The plan is to keep as many of our programs the same as possible in terms of what we're offering. So we're looking at our scheduling to make sure everybody is teaching the exact amount of classes that they need to be teaching. And not that there's not a lot of fluff here, as I've said in other meetings. Our plan is to make things
But our taxes are paying for the fluff. That's the problem. We pay taxes for fluff, and we have no fluff in this district. Nothing at all. Everything is extra and we pay extra. A lot of us couldn't put our kids in the preschool program because we work, and it's a 3-hour program. Like, where's the fluff here?
We did look into the different preschool grants that were available.
The state is.
Yeah,
North Carolina is the state.
Yeah, state that they aren't fulfilling either. And, for lack of a better term, it screws us over in a lot of ways.
Do you mind speaking a little louder from the
I'm
air?
sorry,
No,
sure,
it's-
I apologize.
I just made sure.
I can use my teacher voice,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thank
The state is not, fulfilling its end of the bargain either, right? With, we're supposed to get X amount of money returned to us, or X amount of state aid, and we're getting screwed over. Mr. Graff wrote a letter on behalf of the board to our state representatives a couple of months ago. We did get a response back from Assemblywoman Dunn. And I can't believe these words come out. It would certainly be helpful if our state representatives heard from more people, whether it's in the voting booth or whether it's in a letter or some means of communication, because they need to know these things as well. And if they don't hear it, they can't make any changes. Our hands are tied on a number of levels for, you know, what we're able to do with kind of what we're left with. But it's the legislation that needs to be put forth, and our, you know, on a state level,
I'm sorry, what kind of legislation? What does that mean?
Special ed would be a big one.
special education predominantly, that's
Services.
where, yeah.
That's where a lot of
From what I understand is, when we call it extraordinary aid. So we pay X amount for students with special needs, that have every right to have every accommodation met that they need. But the state is supposed to reimburse us. And they don't. But they don't tell us that in advance either. And that reimbursement, for the past several years, has gone down significantly.
52% this year as of this week where we just got the funds. It's went down from
It's 52 now?
52. Yep, that's just hot off the press.
So what we would love to, the fluff we would love to have, we can't offer because we have to pay for necessary stuff.
Can I just say something, John?
Yeah.
That's right from here.
Right, that's
2021, that was in the budget presentation in May, 90% in 2021. So the extraordinary aid has different formulas for services above and beyond a certain amount. 90% of
Reimbursed, right?
qualifying
Or funded,
expenses
okay.
in 2021, 84% in 21-22, 72% in 22-23, 62% in 23-24, and just hot off the press this week, about 52%, 51.6 I think for 24-25. So
And our price for
376,000. I'm sorry.
The price for out of district is up too now because of the student who kindergarten now first.
We
can't speak specifically, but yeah,
It's
there's a lot
not,
of,
it's not one student in particular, but
there's a
within
number.
our population,
Moving in, you know, which is allowed and fine, and we need to do the right thing, and we do
And-
also keep a lot of students here that would be, you know, in other
otherwise out of
placements
district
and in
placements,
other places.
because we
Can I-
have these
can I
wonderful
say
special
something too?
teachers.
One big part of how our property taxes are broken up, because we all live here too, with the exception of you guys. For the most part, in our borough, it's only like half of our taxes are going to school, and the other ones are coming from the county, from the regional school district, the municipal, the borough itself. But one big thing that we're trying to like do best is the same kind of thing that John was just saying, like, we're all emptying all of our meetings with what's the best interest of our school districts, because we all live here and have kids here too. So you know, I wanted to make sure that you understood that we have the same kind of sentiment and the same, Ms. Hamilton, you said you got angry again. I get angry at every finance meeting, so, you know, so just feel, you know, I wanna share that like, you know, there are some expletives that come out of me sometimes, and it's really, I'm trying to be really nice and on my best behavior when I'm here.
You had a question, just wait.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I feel like, it sounds like you're saying that our special education costs are increasing and the amount that we're being reimbursed is decreasing. So all of the extra money, it sounds like it's going to special ed services.
There's
That, a large portion of it, I can't say all of it, but a large portion of it.
Okay, so I'm a special educator, I'm a speech pathologist, and I work in New Jersey school systems all over the place. So what do other districts do? Like what, you know, what does Newark do? Like what do you decrease?
Well, they come back.
Well, how do we get, like, how do we plot back?
The average in the state for classified students as a percentage of total population in districts is about 16%. I think in yours is about 26%.
We've been in the high 20s since I've been here.
You have such a good reputation for, and again, we're not discouraging anybody from moving in, but you have a good reputation for providing special education services that families move in looking for it. And so you have 26% now is the,
Yeah,
it's a big,
double.
it's
One of the things that,
and, but and the state doesn't fully fund you for those, so that's the problem.
one of the things we've
And
done
they
in the,
keep decreasing it as
It's been
evidence.
trending that way in terms of decreases though for years. It's not just in the past year. And you've all said, yeah, we took swift action once we found out about it. I think the struggle that a lot of us still have here is, one, how did you not know? And like, because all these numbers are in all of the past budget presentations, and then now there's still not a plan. And I missed the bit about a new audit. Like I knew there was an audit happening already.
Not audit, an auditor. So we're changing companies.
Why?
We haven't voted on it yet.
Can you
But-
re-
Pardon me?
Why? I missed that bit. I'm sorry.
Essentially, the thought is that there should have been some idea, something, some indicator that the Wilcox,
Things were-
right? Yeah, that things were awry when they did the last year's audit, and we're hoping that in switching companies,
Oh,
that
you were getting the auditor that was through it all to do the new audit after the administrator left, and now you're getting a new one?
no, we didn't have any audit since.
So you
we
didn't-
haven't had an audit since the business administrator left. This would be,
The end of year audit
End
for
of year.
24, 25.
Oh.
They came in one day to,
A previous meeting, you guys had told me that it was happening, because there was an email about it. Okay,
the
Thank you.
auditor came in on one occasion to help us with some short-term things with budgeting for 24, 25. It was a one day that they came in. That's who we would call if there's a question. So that was the situation that happened at that time. As far as special education, we talked about extraordinary aid, but 2 years ago there was, you know, again, not, you want to be careful when you're talking about a small number of students. There was 2 out-of-district students 2 years ago. There's currently, I believe, 8. So again, a lot of those students are not coming from our district. It happens occasionally, you know, and then have to go out of district. It's people moving in, which again is totally allowed. It's what we're here for. That's a lot of the situation. We have looked at the possibility of having another program here. We have some space issues. That's something that wasn't really addressed in the last referendum when I don't think anybody was on the board when that happened. I wasn't here when that happened. I know there was an initial referendum, but I don't know if space was really looked at during that time. It was one of the first things I noticed when I started here that, you know, there was a few staff members giving services in a room with a partition, which happens in a lot of districts, but, you know, to see speech on one side and OT on the other is not optimal. So, you know, we did some things that we could do. We put our maintenance crew outside in Lincoln and moved speech into that like office, which was now an instructional space. But yeah, we're looking at all possibilities in terms of if we could bring a program here. We have done that in other districts where we, get the resources necessary to
I think the
have.
first referendum that had this space included in it, that was the one that was struck down. And then there was a second referendum that passed, that was, I think predominantly safety and security oriented.
+1 class, so the kindergarten trailers were removed and 3 were added, so it was a +1. I think that, again, I have my own opinion on, I think that like a gym/multi-purpose area is very valuable. I don't know how many actual other instructional spaces besides that were in the first one. I would have probably looked at things a little bit differently, but again, I know nobody was here, so I don't wanna, a lot of good things were done for that,
Having 8 out-of-district students for this small of a town seems like kind of a ridiculous amount. Like proportionately, that's really high. I do out-of-district evaluations. That is really large for a tiny town like this. Which is it? Are we a fabulous district for special ed, or are we not able to meet the needs of the special ed kids in this district? Because 8 out-of-district students tells me that we're not able to meet the needs of the special ed districts but we're also we're not, what happens if it's 10 next year? It could be, so shouldn't we be focusing more on providing special ed services, robust special ed services, because that is something that
we are.
It seems very unpredictable. So what if it's 15? I don't really know. What's the plan for that?
Some of these moved into town already being out of district.
You can't bring them in district, they're already out.
We can if we have a program that we can offer them,
Yeah.
and we definitely have.
I mean, I work with districts all the time that do everything possible to keep a kid from going out of district, up to going to court. So that is a thing that happens all over the place. I don't know what's being done here, and I'm not saying that these kids shouldn't be out of district, but they're out of district because we're not able to provide the appropriate classrooms. If we could provide the appropriate classrooms, we wouldn't be having to spend that much money on, that's a large amount. I cannot emphasize that enough, guys. That's a lot of kids going out of district. That should be a last resort.
Understood.
So why are there this many kids going out of district?
I can assure you that we have a number of students in this district that in a lot of other districts would be out of district. 100%.
This is a very small district.
In addition to the 8, you mean?
In addition to the 8, there are students that are here that.
Funded, and we share our child study team with Warden. That's kind of another thing. I don't even agree necessarily that we're providing fabulous special ed services because we don't even have our own child study team. You guys are sharing with Morris Hills and with Warden.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not even necessarily true. Have you filled the speech pathologist position that's been open? Is it filled?
In process, had a final interview with somebody yesterday, not ready to put it on the agenda, so there is an open position.
Okay,
Retirement.
also teachers talk, speech pathologists talk, us in the related services, we talk about districts, I have a colleague that worked in this district and was let go because you guys went for a cheaper vendor too, so I don't know that I necessarily even agree that we're providing the best services either. So with cost cutting, but now we have 8 out of district students. This is what happens when you cut cost, when you're trying to pare it down. So it seems to me this could just keep happening unless you start to focus on people want to get good special ed services for
Absolutely.
their kids. We're all residents here, we deserve that for our
So
kids.
we've increased speech, and I think budgetarily we've done better in that area too, because we had only 1 employee and an outside agency, and now we have, we went to 1.8, and now at 0.8 in January became full-time for next year. We had a retirement, so we'll have 2 going into next year, so it's an increase from over the last few years.
So at the HSA meeting, you had privately said that we had just passed QSAC and it's every 3 years.
Mhm.
So is there no state monitoring in regards
if a district is not.
Well, we're out of
But
compliance.
we would alert the county
Yeah,
if that was
there's,
an issue.
there's yearly.
We did
reviews.
this year.
There's yearly reviews, it's
Yeah.
just a more formal process every
Okay.
3 years.
So we're out of compliance without a media specialist, and it's, how? How is that not out of compliance?
It's not required in this, so it's that, we're in compliance.
Yeah, that's,
Where can I find information about that?
we're going by the code that it says that we have to have media special services. I don't know, I guess there's some gray area there, but we're looking at that, how we're gonna offer that service this year.
Well, and I
We're gonna be
just
able
told
to-
me at the HSC meeting said that other teachers are gonna be teaching media and technology, which is also out of compliance. You can't have teachers teaching things they're not certified to teach.
Understood. We're gonna make sure we're in compliance. The county's aware of our positions that have been eliminated, the county office.
Well, are we working towards a media specialist though? Like, is that on the plan for the future? Like,
We're looking
that
at
we will go back to having one?
Making sure by August meeting that there's a plan in place for media special
August,
services.
like next month?
Yeah, August 26th, yeah.
To hire one?
I'm not saying, there's a few different options that we're looking at right now.
There's no money. They need to know how much money they can spend on one before they can put out a job posting to then hire them. Like, are they going to be
So
bought?
we hired someone to hire someone at a lower salary.
No, that's not the case. We're looking at what we actually have to offer, because I think there's some conflicting information on what we actually need.
And there's no, legal requirement to offer a position after a letter of intent was signed. That's
No,
not a
because
legal document?
there's notice.
There's termination provisions.
Termination provisions in a contract of 60 days. Notice. It's not optimal. It's not, as I've said in other meetings, it's not optimal.
Do we have any other public comments on agenda items?
I do have a question. You said Mr. Graff said he reached out to the state representatives.
Yes,
Should we be doing the same thing?
please,
Yes.
And it's
absolutely.
D-U-N-N.
Pardon me?
Done, D-U-N-N.
Yes.
Aura,
A-U-R-A is her first name, Aura?
Did he receive any kind of response back?
He did,
Yes, we did.
yeah, we did.
we read it at one of our meetings.
Yeah, I don't have a copy of it.
But only from her, correct?
Yes, only from her.
So that was that.
Is it,
We can email them.
This is.
Yeah, just like that.
So, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. And
Yes, so. All right, roll call. Mrs. Hernandez,
Yes, so,
Mrs. Dorgillis,
yes, so.
Mr. Ravecchio,
Yes, I'm gonna abstain on personnel H.
Ms. Dahl.
yes, all.
Motion passes. All motions pass.
Okay, do we have any new business?
Yep.
Okay, now we're back to public hearing, for non-agenda or agenda items, right? Again, please state your name and address, and if you wouldn't mind standing. Yes, sir.
Timothy Hallish, 21 Conrack Road, Belvedere, New Jersey.
Thank you.
I want to thank the board for the consideration. I just wanted to real quickly, I'm your new treasurer of school money, thank you very much. I've been a permanently certified business administrator since 1993. I'm currently the business administrator at Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, the largest CSC in New Jersey. My wife and I serve on the same Board of Education in Warren County, both on White Township. And just to boil down my responsibility, I have no budgetary input, I have no transfer input. My only job is to basically reconcile cash on a monthly basis based on bank statements I'm provided. Whether it be a general fund, your cafeteria fund, your student activities fund, any other bank statements I'm provided, my job is to provide the board secretary with a reconciled position of cash at the end of each month. That's my only responsibility.
Thank you for that clarification.
I do have a 45-minute ride home, and I have to be up at 4:30 tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I should have let him talk first.
I didn't realize he was here until halfway through.
Here is our new treasurer of school monies. He had to wait to vote, to make sure it was approved. Okay, does anyone else have any, comments? Yes, Mr. Rupp.
Thanks. I just, first off, I wanted to thank the Board of Ed for our last negotiation session. I know we're wrapping things up, but I hope to have everything ratified. We hope to have everything ratified by next week, so I'm sure you guys will ratify shortly after. But it was really an eye-opening and pleasant process. One that, you know, showed that you value us and respect us. And I think that for a little while that was missing. And you know, obviously a lot of the comments, you know, we certainly echo some of those comments as well. And we expressed our concerns to you, and you listened, and that was key. But we also recognize that you are cleaning up a mess from other boards of eds. I think we talked about taking a zero. I mean, you know, we had expressed how upsetting that was, you know, as a union. And I think, you know, I can remember being on a negotiations team 10 years ago where we got offered a zero, 2 years in a row, and a 1%. So, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, I don't think the public knows how many issues there's been with negotiations if they were not here over the last 16 years like I have been. But I could unequivocally tell you that this round of negotiations was absolutely amazing. And I think that we could see it trending in the right direction. And it may not, you know, we may not go from the bottom of the county to the top of the county in one round, but we have certainly seen leaps and bounds, a lot of progress, and we hope we could continue that with you, because, you know, soon, without giving too much more information. So thank you for that. I do have a couple questions though. I just wanted to ask about I'm trying to understand a little bit more. I think I know quite a bit from my position, but I'm trying to understand the role. So we talked about the treasurer. Now, most of my career here, there was a separate treasurer. You said that the treasurer resigned. Did the board make the decision to make Dr. Cusimano's predecessor the treasurer, and what was the reasoning behind that, if you could?
Yeah, I think that the determination was just based on timing, because one of the things that we were told, which kind of new, was that it's due within 60 days or 30 days to the county office. The BA.
So you have 60 days, technically you should have the secretary treasurer report to the board, and the board approve it by resolution no later than 60 days. So if it's whatever month it is, then 2 months out, you should be looking at, like, for example, Tim will do July, because he started July. John DePaulo will finish June, right, and close out June, and we'll approve the June secretary treasurer report by August. So that's within the 60 days. When it's a pattern that it's not, that becomes an audit finding and an audit issue.
I think I'm going even more like from a legal perspective. I guess my question was, why did Mr. Stepka become?
The state, so Governor Murphy about 3 or 4 years ago said, you don't need a separate treasurer.
You could have
your business administrator do both roles.
And you don't have to post it if it's the town CFO or the.
It used to be the CFO, always was the CFO. But then again, like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, the state said, hey, you could just have one person do both roles. And a lot of districts did follow that, but
That's what I was gonna
it was
ask.
probably not.
So it's checks and balances is what it is, really.
Well, that's why I recommend it, because it's always good to have another pair of eyes. And just because we're doing things and putting things in a accounting software doesn't mean that it's accurate. I mean, mistakes happen, we're all human, and I always appreciated the Secretary of School monies, wherever I was, right? And they were always separated on purpose, because that way, if there was an error somewhere, you know, like my treasurer used to tell me all the time, you're off. The book is off by so much. I said, oh, well, I'm waiting on this or that. Okay, I understand. And then it would tie out to the dollar amount that he was looking for. So that's why it's important to have these checks and balances.
So I guess my next question then would be about the auditing company. So, you know, I know we've had that auditing company for a while, and I can recall from the last couple of years that the same issues that came back were pretty much the reconciliation of, you know, funds for the student activities,
and the
that gets hit in the cafeteria every single year. I can remember that from the last 5 or 6. But other than that, it seemed like there was a pretty glowing report for, you know, for Mr. Steppa. So I guess my question is like, did the auditors miss something too? Like, I don't know how much you could share here, but like, it's clear that you clearly don't like what, I'm assuming you don't really like what the auditors said, and clearly we know we have some issues, so you know.
Well, there's some issues coming into this, right? Mr. DiPaolo found issues. I came into this, like, my head was spinning with the other issues that I found. I you know, let the finance committee in on some of the stuff that I found immediately. You know, it's just making these corrections, right? And so by bringing in this auditing firm, I think it's in the right direction to prevent some of these things from happening. Problem is that whether it's Lurch Vinci Bliss, Navaja, Wilcox, it doesn't matter. They don't look at every single purchase order, regardless of the size of the district. They pull a test. So they'll pull, depending on what it is, and every year it varies, so they're not just looking at the same thing every year, but they'll pull 10% of all your purchase orders. And they'll look at for certain specific items and certain things. So sometimes things that, let's say it's a confirming order, right? Where we didn't get a quote and like you just called in an order for something. That's a violation. And that flew under the radar 1 year. So you might get over 1 year, but it's unlikely you're gonna get over every single year. When it's the same findings you're having, or you're not having any findings, that's a problem. Because I can almost assure you that every district I've ever been in, there's always 1 or 2 confirming orders or more if the BA doesn't put a stop to it. You know what I mean? You can't just call up Lowe's or Home Depot and say, hey, can I order this and have it delivered? And then you worry about the purchase order after. That's a huge violation. That's why we have purchasing manuals, you have purchasing laws that, you know, we have to be in compliance with.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, shocked from sitting, I remember the meeting in February, and it was a very glowing report. And then, you know, within a month or two, then we kind of found out about, you know, some more issues.
And it was a report from last year.
Yeah, from last year's, yeah.
And like as Dr. Guzman was saying, it's like they don't look at every purchase order, so they don't see the ones that are in the drawer still haven't been paid last year, but it's now pushed onto this budget, so.
Gotcha, thank you so much.
Any other comments or questions from the public? Okay, I will close that.
Actually, I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Certainly, go right ahead.
Leah Rueda, 55 Arbor Ave. I was curious, based on the last meeting, you were talking about compensating the custodian for doing translation services.
Yes.
Was that ever resolved?
Mm-hmm.
Or was
No,
That was approved.
That was last meeting.
Yeah.
I misinterpreted the whole thing, that's why.
Yeah, I didn't know if you, like, yeah, I didn't know.
I thought if he translated one sentence, he was getting that money. I didn't realize it was like a 15, 20-minute meeting coming out of his schedule, so I'm obviously all for that, so.
Great.
Yep.
Any others? Okay. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will occur on Tuesday, August portion of the meeting will begin at 7:30 right here in the TJ cafeteria. We need to go back into exec for 15 minutes, okay.
Not gonna take a nap.
Sorry, do I read it this way? Be it resolved? All right, be it resolved that the board enter into executive session, private executive session for the purpose of discussing
Sorry.
remaining
Just say
agenda items.
personnel negotiation.
Personnel.
All right. The nature of which will be made public only when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board anticipates being in the executive session for approximately 15 minutes, and board action will not be taken after the session concludes. And do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
No.
Going to exec.
Oh, I'm sorry, go into exec, yes, sorry. Was that you, Mr. Rebecca?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, and a second? Thank you. And that's at 9:26. All right, thank you very much, we'll see
Thank
you
you.
next month.